Now, I'm sure by now you've seen the interview between the anchors on CNBC talking about what could potentially be naked shorts surrounding AMC stock. If you haven't, let's play the clip really quick so you can see what's going on here.
There's a lot of people, there are a lot of short sellers out there that have been borrowing stock they didn't have. In other words, yes, I think there are dynamics where retail investors can get caught, but it's really a dynamic where I think this is going after bad companies.
Yeah, but here's what's interesting.
Now, this is definitely very interesting because, yes, she does say naked shorts, but really before we jump to any conclusion, we need to talk about what exactly is being said here, what he was explaining, and why we shouldn't just jump to conclusions. So, of course, if this sounds like something you're interested in, let's get started. What's up, everybody? I'm Clay. I'm here to make 2021 the best year ever. If you haven't clicked that subscribe button yet, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Join us, become a bro. We are here every single day. And of course, we are growing our portfolios together. All right, it's definitely a bombshell, right? I know it's viral all over Twitter, Reddit, YouTube. Everybody has seen this news clip by now because the anchor says naked shorts. Yeah. But before we jump to any conclusions, we kind of need to understand the conversation that was taking place, what he was explaining, and why people may be misunderstanding what's going on here. So in order to do that, we've got it quoted what he was saying. Let's see what he said here and then talk about it. Now, he said, there are a lot of short sellers out there that have been borrowing stock they didn't have. In other words, yes, I think there are dynamics where retail investors can get caught, but it's really a dynamic where I think this is going after bad companies. So let's explain that really quick. That's a direct quote from what he said, and he was explaining short selling. He was not explaining naked short selling. So in order to understand that a little bit better, let's just break that down, what he said there, and really relate it, and we'll give an example of how that is short selling and how it is not naked short selling. So he says there are a lot of short sellers out there that have been borrowing stock they didn't have, and in other words, yes, I think there are dynamics in which retail investors can get caught. Now, in order to short a position, in order to create a short sale, the institution or the investor that is going to be doing that needs to borrow the stock. When they borrow the stock, they might borrow it. So institution borrows from investor A, and then they short sell the stock to investor B. Now, the borrowing there is the most crucial term in this whole interview. When you borrow the stock and then you short it to another person, that is legitimate short selling. That is completely legal, and that is what he was explaining. And he goes on to say that he thinks this is a dynamic where they're going after bad companies. Now, hedge funds, institutions, these people who are shorting AMC believe that AMC is a bad company. They believe that AMC will not survive post-pandemic, and from whatever, crazy reason they can come up with, they believe that AMC is not going to be a profitable company in the future. That is why they are shorting the stock. Now, we need to understand what naked shorting is. Because yes, the news anchor does interject and she says, naked shorting, yeah. So a lot of people who might not understand the difference go ahead and think that he was explaining naked shorting and that naked shorting is taking place in the market. So naked shorting, the major difference between shorting and naked shorting is the fact that the person who is doing the short sale does not borrow the stock. They have no intention of borrowing the stock or ever covering that stock for that matter. So that is the main difference. When the hedge fund goes out and borrows the stock and then does the short sale, that is short selling. When they don't borrow the stock, they don't check to see if the stock is available to borrow, and they have no intentions of borrowing the stock or even covering the stock. That is naked short selling or naked shorting, and that is how you create naked shorts. That is how you create fake shares. That is how you create phantom shares. And I just want to draw the comparison there because, yes, he was explaining short selling very simply, but she interjected and said naked short selling. So please understand the difference in that he was not explaining naked shorting, but she, for whatever reason, interjected and said naked shorts. Yeah. So I can see where a lot of the confusion would come from, especially if you don't understand the differences between naked short selling and short selling. Both of them, they bet on the company going down. Both want to see the stock price go down. And for whatever reason, if they're trying to manipulate the market and drive the price lower through naked shares and all, this video doesn't need to be too complicated on the strategies that they can use to drive the stock price down. But at the end of the day, you need to know that both of the strategies, they're very similar, guys. Shorting and naked shorting is very similar because both of them involve selling the stock before you buy it back, before you own it. It involves selling the stock in hopes to buy it back at a price lower later. Now, naked shorting is illegal because the stock is never borrowed, and in some cases, there is no intention of buying that stock back later to cover that position. And it needs to be known that naked shorting is illegal, and especially if it's intentionally done, right? We can get into a little bit, just real quickly. Naked shorts do come into existence, and I don't want to say unintentionally, but there are several reasons why naked shorts can exist, but then they're taken care of. So naked shorting, as long as the stock is not covered, if you get a fail to deliver, and that could result from a naked short, that could also result from just human error or clerical errors or something along the way. That is a naked short, and it's cause for concern. Now, hedge funds, institutions, whoever gets caught naked shorting has 4 days to rectify the situation, or they get investigated and they get a fine, they get a penalty for doing so. And yes, a lot of people speculate that naked shorts are going to be determined from a share count or from this and that. Guys, the SEC knows that naked shorts exist. The NSCC knows that naked shorts exist. Your brokers know that naked shorts exist. All of it is reported. All of it is kept track of. And all of it, if done legally, is rectified within 4 days of the existence of that naked short. So yes, although I understand a lot of us out there are relying on, these phantom shares to drive the price of AMC stock higher, but they're not necessary. Okay, they are not necessary for the stock to reach the price that we want to see. It's not necessary for these obscene prices because the hedge funds have to cover the short shares that are outstanding. So hopefully this sheds a little bit of light on the difference between short selling and naked short selling, because although they are very similar, there is one drastic difference, and that difference is the fact that done legally, they borrow the stock and then sell it. Done illegally, they do not borrow the stock and have no intentions of borrowing the stock. And, just to summarize, just to conclude one more time, the man in the interview, yes, he was explaining short selling, legal short selling. And for some reason or another, she went in, she interjected, and she said naked short selling or naked shorts. Yeah. And there's a very big difference, and I hope this video clears that up for everybody out there so that we don't jump to conclusions, especially on stuff that, could have been a mistake. So guys, if that subscribe button is still red, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Join us, become a bro. We are here every single day, and we are growing our portfolios together. Use the link in the description below for Webull. If you don't want to use my link, make sure to use somebody's link if you're signing up for Webull. ClayBro883 is the Twitter account. You can use the link down there in the description below as well if you would like to. And ClayBro.com if you would like a bro shirt. I know this one looks backwards right now, but I promise they're not backwards. ClayBro.com to check out some of that stuff. And of course, until the next time, I hope that each and every one of you have an awesome day.